Hello everyone, welcome to the third fucking attempt at this fucking video. I'm Drunken Dan.
I mean, you've all missed some quality jokes, not gonna lie.
We're not doing it again.
No.
We're not doing it a third time. So there was E3, and there was some good stuff. And
Let's actually fucking talk about it, because it's still a fucking video. Clown shoe.
I don't want to do it a third time. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, for you.
Sonny, it's just tragic. Alright, so let's recap. So E3 happened, we did talk about it. Dan lost the footage to the first recording. So no biggie, we'll record again this
And then
week.
after 20 minutes into the goddamn recording, my microphone fucking disconnected, and I couldn't, and there was no way to actually sync everything back up the way it went.
So, now we're back here the third time. So recap, E3 happened. Bethesda's conference was shit.
And also, as I mentioned the thing, there was a rumor that the crowd was filled with drunks and Bethesda employees screaming to make everything sound cooler than it was.
I mean, yeah, drunks.
And
You could have just said Bethesda employees.
It's still funny that Bethesda fucking did that, though. It's like, we're gonna need to pretend like this is actually exciting that we put NPCs in the game. You know, after not putting NPCs in our game. Click! Get Larry! Larry could scream really loud!
So, that happened. Microsoft's conference was pretty meh, all things considered. It was very much, yeah, we don't have anything to show you for our next Xbox, so, look at the shiny.
They mostly showed a lot of indie games.
Ubisoft was a fucking joke. They announced like 6 Tom Clancy games, even though he's been dead for 6 years.
They just gotta keep draining that corpse.
And that was basically all they talked about. Hey, look, more Tom Clancy, more Rainbow Six, more this, and this.
Someone joked about it, about like milking that husk of a corpse, and they used like footage from the Teen Titans Tokyo movie with the guy who's like a dead corpse. He's like they're using his body to make the fucking ink monsters.
Still save Darius. We've got to.
That just sounds like a Kamen Rider villain.
Kinda is.
There it is.
So yeah, Ubisoft was also shit. Digital Devolver was okay, but
Digital Evolvers are usually pretty funny though.
PC gaming one was largely irrelevant.
That's nothing new.
Square had Final Fantasy VII remake gameplay,
And
that looks fun.
And we called it on the redesign. And after like a day, people started bitching, and are still bitching about her boob size. About Tifa's boob size.
Yeah, well, if they hadn't changed it, they'd been bitching about her tit size anyway, so...
Well, what's funny is, someone pointed out that it's closer to the concept art, where the in-game model was disproportioned. But the only difference being that they gave her a bra, because there weren't sports bras back in 1997. But, and they're still going nuts about it too. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, Jesus Christ. Why do you give a shit?
It's vocal minority. Most people don't care.
No,
as I said,
it's not. It's not. Unfortunately,
as I said, if it was the reverse, if her tits were like ginormous, then then you'd have a completely other group of people complaining. Like, we just live in a culture where
either that or they just wouldn't care as much. I don't know, because it would have been the exact same.
But I'm just saying is that we live in a culture where basically people only scream and only complain.
Yeah,
that's just life. That's life these days.
But
I say this as someone who does nothing but complain.
Here's the thing, though. I will point out. So there was a day where Donkey was trending because he doesn't really like JRPGs, and most of it was people saying like, "Oh, people are trying to cancel him for not liking JRPGs," and that was literally most people just saying that, rather than me seeing people actually mad at Donkey for not liking JRPGs, and I was like, "What?" Where, like, say, like, the boob thing, I see, like, a lot of people actually just bitching about it, where the day she was announced, everyone was just happy, and then, like, I woke up the next morning, and then they all woke up.
As I said, it seems more like vocal minority people get into it, but I digress.
I mean, unfortunately, we don't have a view in the multiple dimensions where we can see the one where it looks exactly the same.
I mean, if we did, you think I'd still be here? You still think I'd still be here? Fuck off.
You'd be in the Berenstain universe.
I go to the universe where Kaiju took over. I think I honestly think life would be. I remember I was thinking, man, King of Monsters does have a relatively silly thing, like releasing all those monsters to take over the world, and it's like, wow, I think I actually know people who said, I think they might have actually had a point in the end. I think Earth would be better under their rule than ours.
I think we'd be safer with the kaiju.
Maybe.
Here is the inherent problem with shit like the world, though, right? So climate change is a thing. No one's denying that, or no one's sensible denying that.
Yeah, I'm glad you switched that real quick.
But the ultimate problem you have about this is that everyone accepts, this is something that's bad and we should probably do something about. But nobody actually does anything, do they? I mean, there's no actual sort of moves or changes to actually sort of make large reductions to carbon emissions.
Well, usually because politicians are like, no, it's fine.
Well, it's because it's like most things, and that people will bitch and moan, like, man, climate change sucks. But as long as it doesn't actually directly affect them, they don't care. The second something hurts them in any way, whatever small way it is, or how long-term beneficial it is,
that's when they'll suddenly give a shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, we'll have to reduce the amount of air travel we do, which should be fine. Air travel's kind of irrelevant these days. Well, think about it. Most of the people who travel, it's either to go on vacation or it's either to go on to vacation to see people, because traveling for business, unless you're a salesman, kind of isn't necessary anymore. Because I also think it's funny how we have all of these climate change meetings have to have people come there face to face, which requires all of them flying around and putting tons and tons of carbon dioxide in the air, as opposed to, I don't know, just Skyping the conference. Why do you need people physically there? Just have them turn up and
to show that they mean business.
But
so that they can't escape.
Well, I mean, it just seems incredibly stupid to me, the whole concept of climate change is bad, but we're going to contribute to it just so we can get in a room and complain about it's bad. It's whenever actors get fucking pissed, get on their high horse about social problems, and they don't actually do anything to help them.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of thing, where it's all these people who have fuckloads of cars and private jets and shit like that, and they're all, man, climate change sucks though, doesn't it? And it's well, you didn't cycle to the Oscars on a bicycle. You drove in a limo.
So, kind of going back to game stuff, though, I wanted to comment on this because we did make a joke about it. So, because of how, you've been for years talking about, the Bethesda thing, and how I've been talking about how Shenmue shit, and yeah, by the way, to the audience, I do know that Shenmue is an Epic Game Store exclusive for a year. But anyway, what's funny about this is, right now, we're still kind of the minority with that, and by the way, the Shenmue subreddit is hilarious, because, man, the Kool-Aid drinking there. But anyway, what's gonna be great is a couple years when everything is not a couple years, but probably in a couple years when everyone's man, Bethesda and Shenmue 3, Shenmue 3 when it comes out. Wow, Bethesda's actually bad, because slowly there's people that are saying hey, maybe Bethesda's bad. It's gonna be great because it's gonna be the end of every Chicken Boo skit, which is everyone, there's that one guy who's saying, it's a chicken, and no one believes him, and then it's a fucking chicken. By the way, Chicken Boo bits were never funny. It's the only one. This is literally probably the funniest bit about Chicken Boo, is the fact that it's going to happen in real life with this, and no one's going to remember that we were saying Shenmue is shit. But to be fair, there's also that guy from Giant Bomb that I learned about later that also rips on Shenmue. I'm trying to remember his name. Shit, but I can't remember his name, whatever.
Probably no one important.
But, it's just really funny to me. And, speaking of, Kickstarter stuff, though, of the big four, we finally have one that's actually decent. I haven't gotten to play Bloodstained myself, but, the reviews for it have been really good. Friends of mine that got to play it say it's really good. It's, basically playing, one of the Symphony of Night or, one of the good Metroidvania games again.
Yay.
Right, everyone likes Symphony of the Night, except when they ported it and replaced the English voice track.
Oh yeah, and
That
then
was, that was sad.
yeah, they switched it to the inferior version.
They switched it to a version that was actually good when the bad version was the funny one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've received the report.
I like one person's like they're obviously trying to be spicy with Bloodstained, like there's too many jokes and jokes. It doesn't have the same oomph as Symphony of the Night. I'm like, did you play Symphony of the Night? Because I did. There's literally
Symphony of the Night didn't really have jokes. It's just that the
even without the dub, you have stuff like
dialogue.
You have stuff like you go to the shopkeeper guy and he's like, I can't betray the master. I'll give you money. Well, in that case, fuck yeah, I'll sell you shit to kill Dracula. Fine.
I mean, always got to kill a Drac.
But only if you're playing as Alucard. Otherwise, he's like, no.
Yeah.
Even your money is not good enough.
I mean, when you
play Symphony of the Night as anyone other than Alucard.
well, if you have the Saturn version, you can play as Maria or Richter. In the PS1 version, you can play as Richter if you beat the game.
Yeah, well. What about the PSP version?
Richter.
No, actually, you can play as them both, but
No.
they're
You cannot play as Richter in not Richter, Maria in that version. It's based off of the PS1 version.
What about the one from the one that's hidden in the Bloodlines or whatever that's called?
That's what I'm talking about.
No, you could. No,
Nope.
they put her back in, but they changed her. I will get footage to prove you are wrong.
I like those profit margins.
Well, Train's gonna have to watch it because I'm still playing the Vigi game.
I mean, the better question is, if you're playing as Maria, when does she get shot in order to give Shadow the Hedgehog his tragic backstory?
I mustn't disappoint them.
Everyone tries to be. I finished fucking my recordings for that, and my opinion of that game only got lower as I finished it.
Impressive.
I dislike Shadow the Hedgehog more now than I did when I started.
Rip Shadow.
All hail Shadow, heroes rise again, obliterating everything that's not your friend.
I mean, if you hate Shadow now, why don't you play Shadow the Hedgehog?
I don't hate Shadow. Maybe the game.
You just said you hate Shadow.
Wait, did I?
Yeah. You did. Did you say both?
Did I say I hate Shadow? Because I don't.
Pretty
might-
pretty sure you did.
I'm eager to reach
This still happens when you have paying attention, because I actually don't hate Shadow the Hedgehog. I hate.
I'm gonna have to check the recording.
I might have just because of fucking playing the game, but yeah, no, I don't hate Shadow the Hedgehog himself. I hate playing Team Dark, and I hate the fucking video game that he's from. Both of the video games he's from.
Wait, I'm surprised you hate Team Dark and not like Team Rose.
I was talking about Adventure 2.
Oh, I thought you meant to play Sonic Heroes. Sorry.
No, I'm talking about Adventure 2. Adventure 2 is fucking awful. Seriously, I walked away from Adventure 2 hating it more than I did before.
Well, I'm sure that'll be fun for the people to catch up.
Oh yeah, because I literally, it's like the first time I legitimately raged in a recording in a long fucking time. I did beat it. I didn't rage quit. I almost rage quit. But, oh god, it was fucking awful.
This is the path to victory.
If I can, like, anti-recommend, I would, like, recommend only one thing for Adventure 2, listen to the soundtrack and never play the game.
Fair.
How did I misjudge this?
But yeah, and then EA has started a new mandate to try and rebrand loot boxes as surprise mechanics.
Yeah, complete with a lizard person trying to tell everyone that they're surprise mechanics.
Well, on the bright side, at least we'll get some quality memes out of this, and EA can't make this unmemeable.
Oh, they'll find a way.
I mean, they couldn't fucking manage it with Andromeda, could they?
It wasn't really a meme, it was just more of a punching bag.
Well, that was literally no. That was actually the corporate mandate that was passed down to BioWare's like B team who were working on the game. Make the game unmemeable. I'm fucking serious, man.
Well,
Jeez.
that's impossible.
What, they,
so.
they didn't want to have another Shepard wreck? Shepard wreck? Shepard wreck?
They want people to like the game for its own merits and not because
What
of
merits?
memes. Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there are some.
EA game merits? that's a rare thing.
To be fair, Mass Effect 1 and 2 were pretty good.
Dragon Age 1, 2. I know 2. I hear mixed things on. 3 I know is apparently good. 1 I played is good.
So about you're the Dragon Age expert.
Yeah, 1 is good. 3 is surprisingly much better than we all feared it would be. 2 is pretty bad. 2 is like all right, but like it was like all right. Now it's time for the game to finally open up, and then it ends.
Oh.
It's one of those things.
It was a massive
Like-
rush job, from what I understand.
Yeah, like the whole thing. They were like basically like advertising was the big point of the game. Happens at literally the very end and mostly off screen.
Oof.
And most of it is just you running around this one
so-
city in reused areas.
Most of the interesting part is off screen. What is this? Death Note?
What is this? Godzilla 2014?
Yeah.
And then they were going to do a DLC for it, but like it was not so the initial ones were so poorly received that they just like gave up and just went right to the next game.
Well, people thought that Dragon Age was dead after that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It will be soon.
Oh, it's dead now.
That's why I said
Oh.
it will be soon.
Well, because EA have insisted, no, they're definitely working on Dragon Age 4, and they definitely still have plans to continue the Mass Effect franchise. Which is EA code for, yeah, we're shutting these fuckers down.
Yeah, they're going to. Like after whatever this Dragon Age game comes out, that's when they'll do it. This weird
Inquisition's
like
good, though.
live service one that they're making. Here's the thing though, a lot of the people that were in no, this a new one. So the thing is too, a lot of the old writers that were at BioWare left before Andromeda. So it's like a whole different team practically.
I thought they left during Mass Effect 3, and that was also part of the problem why it was
Yeah, it was around that time in Dragon Quest 3 when they kind of exited it out.
It's kind of like how the Arkham games are great until you get where they
Got rid of Paul
the
Dini.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, because Paul Dini was in 1 and 2, and then the other ones were not with Paul Dini.
Well, Origins was very clearly that game that they passed off to another studio to shit out because they knew Arkham Knight was going to be on new hardware, and they wanted to keep the brand alive by pumping it out because, you know, if people don't have a Batman game every 5 minutes, they'll forget who he is.
Batman is easy to forget, you know.
The mission started.
I know, right? So it's like,
It was like, well, great, Knight's not going to be out for a while. We better get something else out.
That didn't go too well.
so then, yeah, Origins existed, and it was, you know, for what it was okay.
Something we can do to free Darius from this.
Like, I don't have any strong opinions on it one way or the other. No, on the other hand, I have quite a few strong opinions on. Mostly because the writing's trash.
Yeah, we've talked about that a number of times, and I don't own Knight, and I don't want to buy it, so don't look at me to do that for a video series. Hell no. So no, you're not. It's not going to be another Injustice. I'm not spending money on that game.
Understandable.
I mean, one day I would like to do like the original 2 Arkham Asylum games, and then never play another Arkham Asylum game.
But as I said, Origins isn't bad, it's just...
It is a Christmas game, though.
It just exists. Like, it's kind of hard to describe it as anything else. It's there.
Nah, I get it.
It's lazy, it's boring, but now that we've seen the alternative...
It's still better than the other one.
It also banks heavily on like the latest Nolan movie. It's like it's Bane, and he's not at all like he was in the other games.
Ah,
He's like,
It's Bane, but he gave himself retardation.
you think the darkness is ally. I was born.
he doesn't have that voice, thankfully.
But he's
That was
very
the,
much
that
played
was the
up.
one thing I was
They
I
make
was
him,
thankful about. Yeah.
but he's like a mercenary leader, and it's.
I mean, he was a
he's
mercenary leader in the comics too.
Yeah, but I mean, they play it off more like design-wise. He's designed more like movie Bane.
Mm.
It's not like it's not terrible, but like I said, it's a thing that exists. Yeah,
Could be worse.
yeah, it could definitely be worse. It could be Arkham Knight. That also exists and is definitely worse.
I mean, we've made fun of it so much. I feel almost bad just ripping on it.
I don't.
I said almost.
How could you ask me to do that?
Like, see, it's the thing, right? It's about like expectations in that you go into things. It's like this is why you can enjoy like things that are bad,
The enemy reinforcements.
but like you ever had high hopes for, or you had like very specific intentions for. Whereas if you go in for things with like a certain level, a certain expectation, or understand, or you know, the sort of unspoken contract with the developer as to what, or creator as to what you're getting. That's when the problem starts. It's like, you know,
No,
if
I
Game
get
of
that.
Thrones, if like Game of Thrones didn't have like those seasons where people were like really enamored with its writing.
I mean,
then
I know
the-
some people that were really into it started like rewatching the old seasons. Like, wow, yeah, it actually was better. I mean, like I said, I didn't like it back then, but that's fine. But I was just noting like other fans saying it, so kind of confirming what you think about it as someone who likes it.
But what I'm saying in this case, without getting into specifics like that, is that like when you have like no expectation or something, or you have like you just want, like, say you just want to watch a movie because you want to be entertained, then you're obviously not going to be that. There's certain levels of things you're willing to forgive or not be too concerned about. As I said, it's also from the fact that you can enjoy like a unquestionably bad movie.
Oh yeah, because
But
sometimes
when you-
I'll
but-
actively like search out a bad movie because I just think it's funny to watch one sometimes.
But like when you have this level of expectation, like, oh, you had these two games, but like really well written, and like there were like these massive send-ups to the franchise in general, and like there was things for everyone there. So it's using the sort of Arkham example still. So when you get to like the game that's meant to be the be all end all, until you know the thing that is meant to be like, I guess you could say intended to be the defining moment of the series, you know, how it ends, and then you're just kind of hit with wet fart after wet fart after wet fart on all, and it's specifically all the things that people were very invested in the game for.
And so I actually do understand people's thing with like Arkham Knight, though. This is gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like an asshole. I had very low expectations for it the second they revealed the Arkham Knight himself. Like that was the exact moment when I was like, "This is going to be bad."
Well, that's also the other point, is that sort of on a similar note, you have the whole issue of like, well, as I said, because of the quality of the writing being reduced, you have this very clear moment of this is meant to be. You can already know who the Arkham Knight is.
Yeah,
before
we
you
we
go
knew
into it.
before, and then they literally lied to everyone's faces when everybody called who it was, which is still really funny to me. And DC later did the same thing when people were like, "You're gonna have Doomsday be at the end of Batman v Superman," and you know he was. I mean, we've commented on it before, but it's just really funny to me still.
Well, it's because like it's also the Game of Thrones. It's once again to go back to like to use like Game of Thrones or Star Wars Episode 8. It's like what is it with things in 8 just sucking?
I don't know.
But it's the thing.
I
Where,
don't know.
like,
Mega Man 8 was alright.
but it's because of the thing where like when you have an understanding of basic storytelling mechanics, then yeah, things do start to become predictable in that sense. But that's not inherently bad. The problem comes in when you try and deny those things, like try and say, oh, the Arkham Knight is not Jason Todd when it is. Like you're not gonna be fooling anyone as to who the Arkham Knight is. In fact, they literally didn't. So you lie to people, or you know the Star Wars thing where it's like everyone knows more or less how this is going to go, so you try and be clever and subvert expectations, and you just do it in a really lazy, hacky way. Oh, we'll just kill the main villain. No one will see that coming. And it's like, yeah, you're right. No one would see that coming. In the same way that, like, no one would see it coming if I just decided to go on a shooting spree. It doesn't mean it's a good idea.
It's like they thought of this idea that they thought would be a surprise, but then they didn't think of how to execute it and how to make it work. And then when they couldn't think of a way to make it work, they just said, "Ah, fuck it," and then did it anyway.
Well, from my understanding, episode 8 specifically was just the first draft of the script. It wasn't like hadn't gone through multiple other drafts.
Considering how that story felt, honestly, it does feel like a first draft. Like not even trying to be like snarky or some shit like CinemaSins. It just feels like someone's first like draft of a script. Just...
I mean, your complaint is already more legitimate than CinemaSins because yours is a legitimate complaint and not just an observation. Ding. This man is wearing a tank top. Ding.
I like how CinemaSins started off as a joke and then believed its own bullshit.
I mean,
it's like if Honest Trailer suddenly started to believe its own jokes.
I mean, that is the question though. Was CinemaSins joke from the get go, or
yeah, that's the thing. You're right. Like, wait,
or did we only just realize that it's not a joke?
You know, that's a good point. Might have never been a joke. We were all fucking fooled.
I mean, happened before.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and now that the character in the game's dead.
Oh well, too bad, so sad. We're not starting a fourth time.
No, this is a cutscene death.
No.
I'm not gonna restart it a fourth time.
Is everything still plugged in?
Yes. Don't say that too loud. Something might fucking... See, the thing is, it wasn't even like it was unplugged. It was just... It did the thing where it just didn't detect it anymore. You know, where it, like, will... Sometimes, like, a thing might be detected and I just go, da-donk. What? Oh, no, I'm disconnected now. What? Why? Just down. Fuck you.
I don't know. We'll see, but... Oh, alright, I forgot we haven't talked in this version of the recording. Yeah, Avengers is getting re-released to try and break Avatar's records because Disney are money-hungering fuckfaces.
Yeah, they looked at Avatar's thing and they're like, what if we do that?
They're like, we can beat this.
God, is this just going to become the norm for film now?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Is this just... Oh, is it just going to be... We're just... Like, every film, we're just going to have to go... Yeah, but are we going to have to just wait for the final mix cut? Like...
Meanwhile, like, Street Fighter's laughing in the corner like, ha 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 ha!
How is Mother doing?
Like, I know we've been doing it with video games for years, but...
Yeah. Video games...
I think it's just this movie. I mean, it's
No,
not like
Avatar-
Avatar did it too. Avatar did it before them.
Well, I mean, okay, like
It's just it's easy to forget because
big
Avatar
super blockbuster like that comes out every.
That's what Avatar was though. Avatar
Yeah.
was the super big blockbuster.
Avatar was 10 years ago now, guys.
We forget about Avatar because Avatar was so fucking forgettable. I commented on this before. I don't remember if it was in this recording or what recording, but I know I commented on this before. Avatar is hilarious to me because despite the record it made and how many people saw the movie, it had zero cultural impact.
What about all the people that were like wanting to commit suicide because they couldn't live in the perfect Avatar world?
Well, then they either did commit suicide, or they're not even here. So who cares?
And stop caring. Because it's Avatar. There's nothing really to, like, grasp onto with Avatar that makes it interesting or its own thing.
Well, it's because, like, it's so very heavily borrowed from everything out, from so many other properties, that it doesn't have its own identity beyond just, oh, they're giant blue cat people. But then it's like, oh yeah, it's like Dancing with Wolves, the other comparison, but like Pocahontas too.
Like Navi's even like a thing used for like forest creatures before, and then they're like they're special metal. They're just like, oh, what do we call it? Unobtainium. We did it. We did symbolism, guys.
I mean, what's it symbolic of?
mediocrity.
It's a terrible name anyway. It should really be called Really, Really Hard to Obtainium.
No, that's gonna be the next movie. You know, when it comes out in 14 years.
No, they'll just. I mean, I like how it's been pushed back now because Disney owns Fox and they don't want the movie to compete with Star Wars. And that was the only thing I had left to hope for, you know? I fucking hope that Avatar 2 and Star Wars Episode 9 would, like, create a consumer black hole and just obliterate each other. That was my fucking hope.
And unfortunately,
it's gone.
unfortunately, Disney was aware of it and was like, "Wait a minute."
Then Disney was like, "No, Train, you don't get to hope. This world is shit.
There is no New Hope.
You'll get your recycled garbage and like it." It's like, but I don't want to watch these movies I've already liked ruined. Tough.
You have no choice.
Don't you want to see rapping Will Smith, Genie? No. Don't you want to see the live action Lion King? No. God. Just wait till we just do Basil the Great Mouse Detective, but instead of a mouse, he's a man.
Isn't that Sherlock homeless?
I mean, that was sort of the joke, but yes.
I can't wait until they make the live-action adaptation of Mouse Detective because they've gone through all of their catalog and they just start going into the B movies.
I mean, when are we gonna get Black Cauldron remade?
Out of all the movies, you'd think.
Well, yeah, I mean, why not make it? They should actually. I mean, they should be smart. They should be like, "Hey, this movie failed. Why don't we say we're gonna do it better?"
Well, no one remembers the Black Cauldron other than like you, me, and people that are into animation or really big into Disney animation.
The fucking Japanese do. Like, Disneyland has this.
Oh yeah, they love the Black Cauldron.
They're just I mean, it's because their Black Cauldron's like main villain is basically just Satan.
Well, also that thing came out too when Japan was really big in the fantasy stuff, because that's when a lot of that's when a lot of the fantasy
anime
anime
major
was...
attraction based on the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, but what I was saying was
like the only country that ever did.
Yeah, but what I was saying was back then Japan was really, really into fantasy. Because I mean, they seem to be getting more into it again, but like that was like when you had stuff like Slayers and all that kind, and like Wreck of the Lotus War and all that kind of stuff running around. Sci-fi's never really left them, so I didn't even comment on that. Though they did have that era, like in the 2000s, where it was just slice of life after slice of life.
I mean, isn't that because Azumanga Daioh did fantastically well?
Yeah, because it was like one of the it was one of the only ones that was actually funny.
Well, it's because it was one of like the main breakout ones, and then all the others were just kind of those. You almost call them magazine fillers, you know?
Yeah.
They're there to fill the pages between the top-rated stuff and the bottom-rated stuff.
Yeah, most slice of life is just kind of.
Well, it's because it has the problem with slice of life, I feel, is that you rapidly reach this point with it of just kind of you almost lose investment because, like, at least I do, because none of it matters.
Right.
And I was actually thinking about Futurama.
Actually, you know, I think one of the other reasons why Azumanga Daioh worked is so it was technically an adaptation of a newspaper like thing, because it was originally like newspaper strips, and they just like was strung some of the gags together to make episodes.
Plus, also, I think Azumanga Daioh is just more surrealist than it is slice of life.
It doesn't even really get surrealist that much. The No, seriously. The surrealism is like comes up here and there, but it's not. It's just you remember a lot of the more surreal parts. Like you remember some of the dream sequences and shit.
Yeah, possibly. But like I was just saying, because I've been thinking about Futurama earlier, as I do, and like why I kind of hate that show.
Go ahead, because actually there is one thing I do want to complain, because I do like Futurama, but there's one thing that does really annoy me that I do want to talk about, but you go first, because you're going to have a much longer thing than what I got.
Well, so the main thing is, like, the joke-wise, character-wise, Futurama is fine. My issue comes in with the fact that for the longest time they kept on pushing, like, this thing of like character of like really sort of character development and emotional moments that were incredibly cheap because they didn't matter, right? So like a lot of people would say about but the episode where Fry finds his dog is really sad. And it's like, yeah, it's sad,
but then
like
it never really.
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything, and it's the same thing with like, it's another episode of Fry and Leela. Are they gonna hook up? Will they hook up? Oh, they're not. Oh, they're.
Oh, actually, that's a good transition to what I was going to talk about. Actually,
and it's like, and the problem is that Futurama was doing this constantly, where you would have these big moments. And it's like, isn't this sad? Look, we're smart, we're intelligent,
So I really want to get into the Fry and Leela thing. So what was really annoying with that? So there were several times where the show thought it was over. So it did that thing where it's like, all right, let's get them together. So it got them together, and then they got a new season. So immediately the first thing they do in like the first episode of the next season is split them up.
Yeah.
And they kept doing this because it falls in that thing that we were talking about before, where for some reasons writers will like they don't want to get characters together during the story and don't know what to do with them once they're together because they're so obsessed with the chase for the romance. And don't know what to do with them if they're actually in like a relationship. And it's weird to me, because a lot of those writers are also in relationships or married.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they're happily married.
I mean, that's true, but still, isn't it? It's just weird that a lot of writers, for some reason, shy away from just having them be a couple, because, like, when it comes to writing that, like, when you first get them together, you can have, like, the awkward early bits, and then if they're, like, a good couple and, like, it works out, they slowly get more and more comfortable and kind of acting more like how they did before, where they might be picking and prodding at each other if they're that kind of character or what have you. And that's really it. It's easy. Like, it's actually really easy.
Well, the main way I was gonna, like... The main way I was just gonna... Or the main sort of thing I was meaning was, like... Or the way I was going to tie this all together is Slice of Life has that, or most Slice of Life series have that exact same problem. Like, where they'll do like, where I think we've all had that thing where you've really liked an anime and you've wanted to see how it ends, and then you get to the ending and it's like, but that's not an ending.
Oh yeah, Azumanga Daioh actually had an ending too, because it ends with them going to college.
Yeah, but think of all the other ones that just
end.
That have this end, and it's the end. It's the final chapter or episode or whatever. But it's not an end. There's no resolution. It's just, well, we're back to square one because we never left.
Actually, yeah. Now I remember too. Azumanga Daioh, like the last couple episodes were basically them prepping for college.
And it's like, and I think,
and like there's like they had like the episode with their last trip where they went down. I can't remember where they went. Like, I can't remember the name of the place, but that's where they Sayaka met her like. Basically, she ended up with a pet tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a tiger, but basically it's a tiger. Not Sayaka. I'm fucking up the names. The Whatever. Tall one.
Yeah.
The tall, quiet one. I'm fucking up the names, which is a shame because I do really like it. But it's been a long time since I've watched it, so you know.
But all I'm saying is that most of these other series just. Because, like, as I said, there's plenty of times I've read or watched and I thought, man, I really want to, like, they're building to something, there's character development, and it's like, you get to the end, it's like, it doesn't amount to anything. It meant nothing. Because it didn't impact, because these characters aren't really impacted, like, they're not, the changes aren't there, like, you've built up. As I said, I'm pretty sure we've all been in that exact situation.
Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, like, Azumanga Daioh even did, like, have, like things that would like change them a bit, so as they got older and you went through their school years and everything.
So that's probably why Azumanga Daioh stands out more as stands out more than its contemporaries, which have. I mean, you get the impression with a lot of the endings that they didn't end by choice; they ended because
they were just. It's just like, all right, guys, viewership is down.
Or either that, or down. Like the creators themselves was just bored of it.
They just ran out of gags to do, so there's like, yeah, fuck this.
Well, it's like, you know how there's the sort of almost trope where like a comic, like shonen parody series always turn into the thing that they're making fun of.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball.
Like, well, I mean, Dragon Ball is weird because Dragon Ball is the one that obviously all ate, but like, I can think of like numerous other things where they start off with the whole, we're gonna make fun of all those tropes, all those silly shows, all those silly series you watch, and then they just start, and then to like escalation, they just start actually taking it seriously. Because that was a threat, but we want to keep people invested. So here's a bigger threat, and this one's actually a threat. And then before long, you're like, oh no, we've crossed that threshold, become the very thing we sought to destroy.
Yeah. You were the chosen one, Anakin!
Like, that happens. As I said, I feel like that's almost doomed for any series that tries to be all, we're making fun of all these tropes, or non-standard series.
Well, a lot of times, too, the people that are doing it are also a fan of it, so sometimes they end up falling into it. Nadesco's a weird one, because it is and it isn't.
Nadesco is...
And it always was, it was and wasn't. It's weird.
Well, yeah, Nadesco is a prime example. Well, Nadesco is the example of here's a show that was meant to last 25 episodes. It was meant to last for a season, maybe a second season, but nothing beyond that. And then they kind of thought, shit, we can franchise the fuck out of this. And then instantly it started to become the very thing. It was like the whole joke of it being like commercialized, etc. became reality.
Because it then got super commercialized, and everyone was obsessed with that.
Because that one girl is so popular.
Yeah, the little fucking lolly girl, which I never understood.
But she wasn't though, because she wasn't enough to carry the fucking She wasn't enough to carry Prince of Darkness.
Well, I mean, yeah, because she's not really a character. She's not much of a character. I never when I learned that she was popular, I never understood it.
She was a character, but like she wasn't a main character. She's not the sort of person who carries.
Yeah. Like when she was in the like outside of that, like when she's in the show, I'm just there. Like I was fine with her, but when I learned that she was like super popular, I never quite got it because like she's not really much of a character. Because I mean, she's not supposed to be.
Because they found it funny that like the usual soft-spoken volley girl was like, you're all so stupid. And like that was literally her entire thing.
The joke was she was Rey, but if Rey didn't like people.
But if Rey hated everyone and was rude.
Yeah. So
Right.
It's more
surprising because it's Japan.
And the joke of Ryoko is she's like Asuka except for an actual good person and likable.
I mean, but yeah, so Nadesco is its own series, and then it kind of the movie ruins the vibe of the series. And what's worse, the movie was never concluded, so it ruins the show, and you don't get the actual resolution to it.
Did like the writers of the movie, did they like, was it like the same team that did the show?
I don't remember. I think it was just more that like Nadesco got. Well, like, it was also about, 15 different tie-in things you had to know about in order to get what was going on when Prince of Darkness and Prince of...
This was back in the days when, they liked to have a million tie-in games.
Oh, and they would also have, the fucking, and, the audio dramas.
No, it had the same... It had the same director, but I think there was a different writer on it.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Back in the days
okay, so the director of Nadesco the series wrote Prince of Darkness.
That can do it.
Well, as I said, they also once again they were like, oh, we can franchise this. Let's franchise it. And I think the idea was, well, we'll start off with Prince of Darkness because. Oh yeah, everything's going to be really weird and not what people want, but then by the time we get to movie 3 of this planned trilogy, everything was, it bombed, well, yeah, those plans are scrapped.
And unfortunately, it's not like Disney who's just like, let's just do it anyway.
I mean...
Well, unfortunately for them, I mean, not like...
But yeah, so it's like... series that make the longer a parody goes on for, the more it's likely to transition into the thing it parody. It's like Scream, right?
I mean, was it a Bridge series almost did that with Cell, but still stayed comedic, and apparently with the Boo Saga, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do this again with Boo Saga because Boo Saga is dumb. We're just gonna be extra silly.
I mean,
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball is dumb.
Yeah. But Boo Saga was really stupid. Even by Dragon Ball standards, it was really stupid.
Yeah, and then it got saved because Super exists.
We're good to go.
That's true.
I think people still like.
Thank goodness.
Super more than the Buu Saga, to be honest.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, me neither.
I think
on
it
that.
flip flops. I think people like the stuff in Super that's good more than the Blue Saga, but I think generally if taken like how the first like massive chunk of Super is just, hey, it's those movies you already saw.
And one of them is the good one, like one of the best Dragon Ball movies, but we made it worse, and the other one's the bad one, and we made it worse.
And then it's like, oh, okay, and then it just kind of meanders for a bit, and you get to Universe 6 tournament. It's like, okay, that's neat. Future Trunks
Actually,
Saga,
I
okay.
just real quick want to say with the Revival of F. Like I was talking about this with a friend the other day. Revival of F is honestly probably one of the weakest movies in the Dragon Ball series.
I mean, I'm not sure I'd say weak that. Like, there's plenty of really weak ones.
To be fair, I haven't watched a lot of them in a long time, but
I don't
anyway.
think anything can possibly be worse than Bio Broly.
True. I said one of the weakest. I didn't say the. But what were you gonna say though, Train? Before I did that, because you're talking about the Tournament of Power. Not Tournament of Power. We haven't gotten there yet.
I was just saying, it's like, oh, Future Trunks was neat, and then you get to Tournament of Power, and it's like Super is you could just at the best you can describe Super as a mixed bag, right?
Yeah, actually, that's how I feel about it. It's very mixed. Like I enjoy it overall, but if in terms of like watching it again, I would watch say like the Future Trunks saga again. I'd watch Tournament of Power again because I did like it overall, but I just don't like Jiren. And it's kind of funny though. Trunks arc had like one of the weaker endings, but had like a good villain, a good setup, and everything. Tournament of Power was just kind of like this battle royale sort of thing with like the weakest antagonist in the series, who got a much better send off than Zamasu, who's one of the better villains Dragon Ball's put out. Because it has that issue of Toriyama gives somebody immortality and then doesn't know what to do with it. Because he gets rid of, he'll set up like things to get rid of it, and then because he doesn't want to do that, he'll then throw those to the side, and then he doesn't know what to do anymore.
Well,
like with the Mafaba and shit.
I mean, we've said before that Toriyama's not really a good writer.
No, he's not.
It's kind of improving time and again when other people get their hands on his property. And it's kind of a bit sad to say that, like, yeah, here's this guy who created this franchise that's, like, so beloved, but it's honestly safer in everyone else's hands than his own.
Yeah, because, I mean, the original series, like, he had editors that would kind of, like, watch over him. And then with Super, it was just him, and it's why Super just is the way it is. And the Broly movie is the way it is, where it's actually pretty damn good, all things considered, is because... Honestly, no, I really like it. It's like one of my favorite Dragon Ball things. Is because he, after the Tournament of Power, was like, you know what? Maybe I do need an editor again. And that was apparently how the Broly movie came to be, is he's like, alright, I need people watching over me again. And that's why, like, when you watch Broly, it feels so different. Like, parts of Super are in it, but it feels more like something out of Z with less blood than it does Super.
Yeah.
Now, for the audience, the reason why there's less blood is because of the time slot that Dragon Ball Super's in, and Japan's gotten a little bit more strict with violence at certain times of the day.
I mean, I don't see why. It's not as if they have a school shooting problem.
I know, but I mean, it's just what it is.
Let the kids experience violence and prepare them for the horrible world they're going to grow up in.
Alright, so I beat both levels. Is there anything else you guys want to, like, cover real quick, or...?
No, just hope
No,
to
I'm afraid
God,
of anything else. We'll have to do this a fourth time.
I'm gonna make sure before we all walk away that it's fine. Oh yeah, I guess real quick, as I forgot to mention recording, it's the fourth time now. The Fire Emblem thing, just the Fire Emblem thing, real quick. Just real quick,
yeah.
since we're playing.
Blah blah blah. No child units. Time skip.
Yeah, time skip. No child units. You can't romance your students until 5 years.
Until they're of age.
And unique character designs, all that stuff. That's pretty much all you need to know.
It's Fire Emblem. If you were gonna buy it, you probably already if you were gonna buy it, you've probably already resigned yourself to buying it. And if you weren't interested, you weren't gonna buy it anyway.
Correct.
Probably.
All right, guys. Have a good day.